So Arsenal lost their second game of the season in the league. Everton, Sean Dyche. Arteta was Dyche, was JEZ'S fan cam. What a quality fan cam title. We have bigger fish to fry. And Kenny's was, we were outclassed. And we were. All three of them things are mad, really, when you think about Everton 19th in the table, Arsenal top of the table. We've just let Man City back into this if they beat Tottenham tomorrow. And then the pressure really is on for the Brentford game at the weekend. Big up to everybody who's watched the fan cams. If you haven't, go and check them all out. And for anyone who hasn't, Jez, give us your little breakdown, mate, of how you see that today up at Goodison.
Well, it was a joke, Lee, wasn't it? Rested for 8 days. Team came out lackluster, no direction, and got bossed by Everton because, well, as I said, Arteta gets diced by Sean Dyche. He does it every time. And it proved it once again that he sets that team up with the way that he knows he can disrupt the team. He just totally disrupted our midfield. Every time Saka or Martinelli got the ball, there was 2 players on them and basically took them out of the game. So I just don't understand why Arteta can't work this out, having known and played against this manager in 3 seasons before, of how he sets his team up. You know, Burnley back in time, they used to just bully teams. They were a bloody awful team. Let's get it right. But they could bully players. And they you know, Sean Dyche is the man, as you quite rightly said. He eats concrete for breakfast, you know. He sets his team up to be physical in a fair way. He bullies players. His teams bully players, and they negated our midfield completely. It was absolute crap.
Yeah, 100% agree. What about you, Kenny?
I thought, you know, everything Jez says, you know, we're at fault, at class, and Dyche tactically outwitted Arteta today. You know, we were carrying a few players today, and you know, people were saying, oh, certain players should have stayed on, and certain players should have you know, gone off. But let me tell you something: you can't carry players who are playing badly. Partey was poor. You know, struggling with injury, clearly. If you're not 100% fit in a battle like that, off you go, mate. Odegaard got a knock, you know, try and make things happen, but struggled. Off you go. Martinelli struggled as well. Time for a bit of a rest, really. So, you know, can't knock it. And Benjamin White struggled as well. So, it doesn't matter. Just because they're your favourite players doesn't mean they can't be analysed, you know, correctly and fairly. If you can't take the fact, you know, then just don't watch any of their games. Just watch the highlights, because the simple reason is that this is the time of the year when we're going to find out a bit about Arsenal, whether we're title contenders. This month, February's always that month.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, you know how this works, people. If you don't like the scores that these guys give, cry. We'll be back again against Brentford next Saturday. Let's start with the goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. Jez.
Aaron Ramsdale, I'll give him a 7, mate. He didn't really do anything wrong. I don't think he was great today. I think there was a couple of times when I thought, oh, ouch, this could cost us. But he did make one great save when he was wrong-footed and had to quickly change, dive, parry the ball. So big up to him for that one. That was a sure goal. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't great, but you know, I'm not going to say the goal was his fault. I think that was the player that should have been marking him that was at fault, and I believe that was Xhaka. I believe.
No, it was Odegaard.
Odegaard. I beg your pardon. So yeah, that was not good. But we always know how dangerous that guy is. He's a big lump, you know. Anyway, yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Let's go to Ben White, Kenny.
Another poor performance, and his place is up for grabs in his side. It wasn't great. Someone had the audacity to say that I was harsh with Ben White. I'm not being harsh. I don't care if he's a favourite player. it's a game to game basis. You analyse what you see. You know, reputation. No one player in this team should be playing because of reputation, because of what they did a few games ago. It's not playing well. You know, proofs in the pudding. He's been substituted in quite a few games now, and that's a solidified right back situation. I'm giving him a 5, and that's generous. Really.
Let's go to the opposite side. Jez, Zinchenko ended up having a bit of a tussle at the end with Malpai. Was the only player we had booked. What did you make of him today?
Yeah, mate, I don't like this cutting into the midfield scheme. I really don't, and especially against Everton today, it left us exposed down that left wing, and yeah, it's a strange tactic, but I didn't think he was great today. He gave it a go. I'll give him a 6.
Let's go to centre backs. Gabriel, Kenny.
Thought he did well today. I thought, you know, like portions of our team, especially the 2 centre halves, I had no problems with them. And I certainly didn't have a problem with him. It's his time of game. He loves the physical start. I'm going to give him a 7.
Saliba, Jez.
Saliba, yeah, I mean, he got spun a couple of times today, unlike him. But you can see what he was trying to do, Lee. He was trying to play cover. A couple of times I noticed when Zinchenko had gone into the midfield, he was out there on the left wing, which left our central defence exposed. So fair play to him, and I'll give Saliba a 7.
Let's move into midfield. Thomas Partey hooked at half time. I'm lying. It wasn't half time. He was hooked in the second half. Thomas Partey, Kenny.
Like I said, you know, understand why he played, because in reason state your whole system's based on his work rate, his defensive nous, and his ability to, you know, like be the bridge between attack and defence, and actually get closer to the you know, attackers from 25 yards out. So I can understand why he played, but we'll carry him a day. Everton targeted him, knew he wasn't fully fit, and basically, as I say, outmuscled him out of the game. So I can't give Thomas anything more than a 4, and that's unlike Thomas today. But you got to call it as you see it today. But that's not because Everton he wasn't able to deal with the Everton onslaught.
No.
Let's go to somebody else who couldn't. Martin Odegaard, Jez.
Yeah, very poor today. Really didn't think much of him at all. He just seemed absolutely lost. He was getting bullied off the ball. He was just going around in circles. Never made a great contribution. And yeah, I'm sorry, mate, Mr. Odegaard. I've really liked what I've seen from you up to this point in the season, but today, mate, you are a shockingly bad 4.
Let's go to the other side. Granit Xhaka, Kenny.
Another one who played poorly today. You know, it was for. You know, we always saying about Granit Xhaka, you know, in terms of his temperament and, you know, showing a bit of fire. We actually need him to show a bit of fire today. We didn't need him to be the sensible Granit Xhaka, and he, you know, he was tidy, you know, but he got bullied as well in the game by the midfield and the relentlessness of it all. So he struggled as well. I can't give him anything more than a 4 either.
Let's go to the attackers. Bukayo Saka, Jez.
By Bukayo Saka, fair play. He tried. But every time he got down that right wing, straight away, they sensed the danger, closed him down. He tried some trickery on a couple of occasions. It just never came off. But I admire what he was trying to do in very, very difficult circumstances, and I will give him a 7.
Opposite side, Gabriel Martinelli, Kenny.
Vulnerable and struggled since the turn of the calendar year, and it's just not getting better. Teams have worked him out. He badly needs his JEZ'S, but I'm sorry, you can't. You don't need your big brother to hold your hand, you know, or to hold your coat so he can cheer you on from the sidelines. You've got to be able to work yourself into games, especially when you face that sort of adversity. And today, you know, just, you know, a sign of things to come during the game is when he basically couldn't outpace a 34-year-old Seamus Coleman. So I can't give him anything more than a 3. I can't. I run out of patience with him. But and last few games, because the end of the day, the good thing about it is, thank God we've made some signings, because places up for grabs now. Because the end of the day, we can't carry players if we're trying to try and win this championship.
Facts. Let's go to Eddie and Ketty, Jez.
Yeah, he tried, but I mean, dearie me. I don't want to hate on this guy, but in a game like this, you need somebody that can actually be a diamond in the rust. And sorry, he's not. And he's proven it and proven it and proven it. Yet people shout out, oh, well, he's great against Oxford United. Yeah, levels. And that says it really, doesn't it? Against a 19th placed Everton in the Premier League, I would expect a player that's getting 100 grand a week to actually deliver. What did he actually do today? Tried shots that were not ever going to happen, because Everton, as soon as we looked like a threat, they had everyone behind the ball. You ain't ever going to score a goal like that when you've got 22 legs in the box and you're trying to do stupid nonsense. No, sorry, man. But I will give you 6, because at least give it a go. But sorry, I don't think you're good enough.
Let's go to substitutes. Let's go to Trossard, Kenny.
He tried to make things happen. Like I said, he played more intelligently than Gabriel Martinelli. Wasn't difficult, really, for him to do that. But, I have to say, physically, he looked really small in that field, didn't he? You look at the athleticism and fitness of the players and the builds of the Everton midfield, and you think, it's like he was like a kid out there, wasn't he? But, at least he gave his all, and he did try and get us back in the game, and he did try to be direct and try, and he had a shot on target. So, I can't knock the lad. Well, he didn't have a shot on target. Well, he did go for goal, but he I think one of them was offside, the other one went into Rosette. But can't knock him, man. It's easier to give him a good mark today because he was up for it. So I'm going to give him a 6.
Let's go to Jorginho, Jez.
Yeah. Wow. What a great signing he is, isn't he? I think earlier part of this week, Monday, when I was having a chat and a drink with a few Chelsea fans, said you've got a decent player there. I now think they were taking the piss.
Or they were drunk.
Yeah. And this guy is just so slow. That one of the guys that I was chatting and having a drink with said, yeah, but he never loses the ball. Really? Really? Then I think he had his boots on the wrong way today. He lost that ball in midfield so many bloody times. So, Mark, if you're watching, you took the piss out of me on Monday, and I'm coming for you. Because, no, absolute stink show, mate. Stink show. And I'm giving him a 4.
Let's go Fabio Vieira, Kenny.
He tried. Yeah, said he gave his all, but again, he's one of those players like Jorginho. I add to that sort of collection as well. Just they look really, really. As like I said, it was like sending out the cadets out of battle because like physically they just look weak. They didn't look strong enough, but they did try and make things happen. It was a lot of substitution, but just couldn't get in the game. He played probably way too deep for my liking as well. So he didn't contribute anything. I'm going to give him a 5.
Probably no point even marking Tomiyasu because he weren't on for long enough, really.
Really.
Before we get into marking the manager, you know how this works. We're going to do a 3-2-1 countdown. If you don't agree with the ratings, put yours down below. Instead of crying, nobody cares if you cry. We'll be back again next weekend. Man United are currently 2-0 up against Crystal Palace. Rashford has just scored the second. Brighton are 0-0 with Bournemouth. Brentford are 2-0 up at Southampton. Villa are losing at home 3-2 to Leicester, and Liverpool are losing 2-0 away to Wolves. Jeez, at least we're not that bad. But anyway, 3, 2, 1,
4.
3.
4. Because simple reason is that. But one thing he needs to do right. He needs to talk to the physio and see if he can get JEZ'S back in that side. Nothing personal, it's Eddie, but really and truly, against packed defences. You know, Eddie will work his nuts off, but he doesn't have the quality of that tactical intelligence in an advanced role to make spaces for other players. And it's killing our team not having Jesus in there. When we're not on it, that's at it. It's quite easy to defend against with Jason's side. So get him. We need him for the Man City game and for the running there. Eddie, you've done a great job for us, mate. But you know, there's a reason why Jesus is in the team and you're not.
Absolute facts. And yeah, it is what it is. We need to have a massive improvement for the game against Brentford next Saturday, that's for sure. But listen, we will be back again on Monday evening and doing the podcast. We'll dissect this a lot greater on there. And have a wonderful weekend, lads. Make sure you follow both the guys. The links are in the description. JEZ'S YouTube channel, Arsenal History and More, and Kenny Ken's Insta 1972, Kenny Ken 1972. And sub to me, share the content around. Like I said, if you want to cry, we don't care. And we're out of here. Laters. Edu out.